I want to start, Shanina, I think we can start the recording. Oh, you have, okay. All right. So I want to start by actually showing appreciation to, I know, look at my face. You're looking down. Yes. I know has been amazing. When I started Inspire Teacher Summit and I spoke to Aino about it, she gladly welcomed the idea and she was like, okay, let's get it work. And she joined, she got other people to join, and it's been so amazing. And we keep growing, we keep getting a wider scope. People from all angles wanting to join us, getting inspired by the things that we talk about here. And so it's just great. I know, I want to say thank you. I know, thank you. I don't know how to say that in Turkish, but I want to say thank you. And Shanina. Shanina is an official partner. And so Shanina works with Build, Teach. And so we are doing it together. So from now on, every program that we put together is a production or an idea from Build, Teach. And what is she doing? She's going to tell us a little about Build, Teach. And then we start with the classroom experience. So Shanina, tell us a little about Build, Teach and how long you've been doing that.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you at. Sending love from the States. I am Shanina. I'm the founder of Build, Teach. It's an education consulting company that work with teachers. We know that teachers, I always say, are heroes. They make the world go around. Without them, there's no connection to the rest of us. So I love teachers. I have been working in education for the last 15 years. I am a dean of students in a charter school here in the States. And my goal for Build, Teach is to support teachers and coach them where they're at, to let them know socially and emotionally they need to take care of themselves first, and then only can they build, reach, and teach their students. And so I'm passionate about how can we make sure we have healthy teachers in order to have amazing kids that learn. And so I'm really excited to learn more about your presentations. I will put my website in the link, and you can follow me on Instagram, whatever ways we can partner and help each other. I am here. And so I'm so excited about our partnership and the things that we'll be doing together to just continue to build on education, because no matter where you're at in the country, we all know that teachers matter and what we do matter. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. So no matter what we do in education, teachers matter, and whatever we do also matters. So thank you very much, Shanina. In no particular order, we are going to have the first round of our discussion. And what are we talking about? So we are sharing the classroom experience. Life after COVID in the classroom. People are sharing their experience, life after COVID in their homes. We are pioneers in the classroom. We are the pushers in the classroom. And so as pushers in the classroom, what can we do differently? Yeah, what can we do differently? Let's share. So Clara, now we have full house. Share with us how long you've been teaching, and then your experience in the classroom now compared to the years you were in the classroom and now. So we are starting with Clara.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. Right, it's so different. You know that a year ago, I would have never thought I would have been able to teach online. I teach phonetics, and I always thought that that was something that it was impossible to do online, that we had to be face to face, you know. And I would have never tried. It was something just not in my mind, was impossible. And as we were forced into this situation, we just had to find ways to reborn in what we do. So I was forced, thankful to that. We were forced to reinvent ourselves. And I've learned that there are so many different ways to doing things. I learned not only about new ways of teaching, but mostly new ways of learning myself. And that is something in the classroom, we are so immersed in what's going on around us, in the shape or in the way the students are, I don't know, seated, the materials, the board, that sometimes we take so many things for granted. And I've learned to value those things that I took for granted and I suddenly lost. And I started to see things in a new light. So the difference now is I find myself more connected to students directly, to their feelings, to their well-being, not only into the academics, which I was before connected to them, was like, looking at the person. But now it's become deeper, and it's become more important than before, and more important than the academics. It was like the academics was most important because I was there in the classroom for that, for the content.
Okay.
But now there's something else that has taken, I don't know, a step up, or it's more important than just the academics. And I think that we have to keep that, even though we eventually go back to our classrooms. We have to make sure that we don't forget about this, that we don't forget to keep this interpersonal connection and well-being and all these things that we have learned. So I think that the difference mostly will be that, the deeper caring, not just again, because all teachers care for their students, I think, but there's a deeper connection yes. I think to value that and keep that in mind when we go back to the classrooms. We'll have all the protocols, we have to go back and use the alcohol, spray ourselves and all that, with the masks and all that. And I think that we might be overwhelmed with that, but being in the same, I think that this is something that I've learned, that we're all, I used to think that we were all in the same boat, but it's not the same boat, as someone said. It's the same storm. Definitely, it's the same storm. And this is something that has blown my mind, with everyone in the world struggling for the same thing, the same situation, different ways. But we're all looking, forward to the same thing. So that's something that has brought us together, and that's something that we have to keep. I think that that's the main thing.
Wow.
Keeping us. That's for the time being. That's what I'm thought of, But it's quite emotional.
That's quite emotion. That's what you've thought of, but that is a lot. A lot. Not just new ways of teaching, but value the things more, and you're now more connected to the young ones in the classroom. Yeah. So going back to going forward, it's been amazing. Now let's come to Prof. Prof, share with us, going back to coming forward, how has it been?
Well, I agree with all that Clara shared. We are in the same country, but we're in different parts of the country. I'm in the north, she's in the south, and all the same, our feelings and our challenges are pretty much the same. Here, there's a huge problem of connectivity, so we try to find different ways to work around that, okay? And but I believe that as teachers, we had to, well, she said, to be reborn somehow, okay? We had to reinvent ourselves. And part of that was finding what was essential in the classroom, okay? So what was important that I don't know, they copied all the homework or that they go through the homework, for instance, okay? So I believe that what we lived during 2020 is something that has been a landmark in history, at least for our history as contemporary teachers. And that we had to, first of all, we had to cherish or treasure what was good about the 2020 experience. What I believe, one of the things that I believe was the most important thing was to come together as teachers, to work together and to keep on learning, okay? I had a chance to work, and I just want to mention this because these are different experiences that I've been through, and they have all been around connection-based learning and connecting teachers and students and teachers among teachers. So for instance, I had a chance during 2020 to participate on what was called Comunidad Atenea, Atenea community here in Argentina and all Latin America. This online community belonged to the Barclay Foundation, and they developed this community around experiences each week. So each week we had a chance to work online around a topic, a tool, or something that we needed. And probably if it weren't for the pandemic, we wouldn't have gone through that. We wouldn't have learned that much. And we wouldn't have shared that much because we have WhatsApp groups, we have lots of information online. And this time we had the chance to go through that and learn again. So that community really helped me a lot. And what was great, it was not only that they said, okay, this week we're going to talk about, I don't know, using a Flipgrid. No, they said, okay, we're going to talk around communication. Okay, how can we build communication in the classroom? Okay, we can use Flipgrid, we can use this other tool. And then they said, okay, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about during this week? So I was able to put forward different topics to bring in Matt Mary. Remember the teacher that participated in our last summit? Yes, and so he brought on, even in Spanish, he brought in his own ideas, and that was great. And so we could connect, and just like this experience today, we are connecting, and that seems to be one of the things that probably we somehow forgot of, okay? Somehow we were just enclosed in our classrooms, thinking that it's just us, just the teacher and the students, that's all. And suddenly it seems that it's not like that. That is not only that. So we can have other voices in the classroom. We can have other teachers participating. And that's how I was able to participate in another experience that is called the Global Ambassadors Institute by a Happy Work Foundation, a foundation that is based in the United States, in Texas. But they work with classrooms around the world connecting languages, because the founder of this foundation, he speaks 6 languages. So he wanted to connect classrooms around languages and cultures all over the world. And that's how we were able to do this in Spanish, in English, because those are the languages that I speak. But other teachers speak Portuguese, French, and other languages. So they were able to connect classrooms. So we are around 1,000 volunteers, okay? And it's amazing that this teacher, who is under 30, he's 29, his name is Akash Patel, he was able to, with his twin brother, they created this foundation, and now, the twin brother died, sadly he died, and now Akash, he keeps on working with this foundation, and thanks to this foundation, I met so many great people. I met Sister Rosemary from Kenya. I met people from Brazil, people from the United States, all leaders that somehow, or in different ways, they try to foster education or global education. Okay, so I believe those are, and then School of Tomorrow by Matt Mary, it's another project that I was able to participate. And all these things that are for free, first of all, that's important to say. They are all for free. They are all for free. It's not that they are charging anything for us to participate, but it's great to see that somehow, these walls just crumbled down, and now our classrooms are open. And somehow that's a personal idea, the personal idea that I developed during last year, that we teachers are like bridges, okay? We are bridges that connect, okay? So we can connect classrooms, we can connect educators, we can connect the community and the classroom. And thanks to that, I also had a chance to participate with Clara in the teaching capacity building program here in Argentina. It was the first time that teachers here in Argentina delivered webinars for other teachers from around the world. And that was awesome. That was awesome because it was the first time that we were on the other side of the screen. Let's say it's not only listening to somebody, but it was the first time for me at least to share what I had learned with others. So that was also, and we are all teachers who are at schools in different contexts. So it was real experience being shared. And as one of the people on this program said, we are sharing, or we had a chance to share our playlist. Okay, so the things that we like, the things that we use in the classroom, the things that worked for us and probably would work for other teachers too.
Exactly.
And that I believe it's important. It's not like we had to share 20 different websites. Probably I can share 2, 3, 4. Those work for me. Okay, and you can pick them up and use them. Probably 1, 2, and then you can share another one. And I believe that that's important. Okay, it's like we can all go into this world of online learning. Okay, always keeping in mind that the teacher is it's important, it's paramount, and that we can always keep on learning as a student too. Okay, so that's what I value from this year, and I believe that at least in Argentina we're starting on blended learning, not entirely face-to-face, not entirely online. So we're going blended probably, and well, so we still had to be used. We still had to get used to using the ICTs and well, this whole world, and also create caring, or at least to share experiences and to still build relationships with our students and with the community. So that's me.
Wow. Thank you, Prof. Gonzalo. So we are still on the classroom experience, Inspire Teacher Summit. And right now we are on the first phase of our summit. We are listening to experiences from their classroom, the new phase, how things are going, and the changes that are happening, whether positive or negative. Now we will come to whether positive or negative, but this time we are taking the general experience in the classroom. So let's go. Is Ramat around? Ramat? Okay. So Silik, is she here? Okay. As a girl, would you want to share your classroom experience with us?
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Yeah. First of all, hello, I'm Ebru. I'll be translating my mom today.
Great.
You were talking to me, right? Sorry.
Yes, I was talking to your mom.
Yeah, this is my mom.
Hello.
She is the founder of the school, and as you said, she wants. I'll be translating her today. I hope it goes well.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if it doesn't go well. I'm sorry.
It'll go well. Don't worry. There's a first time to everything.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I want to thank you for inviting us in this conference. Thank you for all the participants who talked, Clara, the professor. Thank you so much. And I see a lot of our parents and participants. So I want to say hi to them. Herkese merhaba. Katılan herkese teşekkür ederiz. So I think you just asked us the negatives and positive changes, right?
We will come to the negatives and the positives, but now we want to listen to how long Mommy has been in the classroom, and then how has it been moving forward?
Yeah, my mom is the founder of the school, so she doesn't really teach.
Okay.
But she still wants to share her experience.
Great.
So yeah, she prepared a whole presentation to me before the conference, so I'll try to translate and tell you her experiences.
Great.
Sorry, I'm a little excited. I'm sorry. So,
So,
what she said was, I'm sorry, I'm just opening the just opening the.
you want to
So-
share your screen?
Yeah, but I don't know how. So I guess I'm not gonna like. I don't wanna. So okay, I'll just start. Sorry.
Okay.
So what she said was that she realized that the students' desire to come to school was increased a lot.
Okay.
So like we had some problem with some of the students before the pandemic. Some of the students were like I don't want to go to school, but after the pandemic we realized they were so like willing to come to school. So that was a good thing for us because we feel like after a couple weeks we will be open, hopefully. So we feel like we won't have the same problem we had before. So that was one thing. Another thing she told me is studying. So during the online education, we made the groups very, very small. So she told me that made some students who had some problems with I don't want to say crowded, but like 20 other students, like learning with 20 other students were a little hard for some students. So
Okay.
my mom said, surprisingly, for some of students, the success level were increased because actually we were expecting the opposite. So that was a little surprising for us. Another thing she told me was witnessing the education environment has enabled some parents to have more empathy and understanding towards teachers and school administration because they literally like witness how things goes, like how hard it is. So we like a lot of our parents just called us, thanked us, and they were like, we just realized how hard it is because we didn't know before we were like we were really distanced before, but now we feel like we are together in this. So yeah, that was another thing. And I want to say one negative side. That's also what my mom told me, and I was a little surprised. So she told me that she realized some of the students gain a little weight. That was like a physical side of the pandemic. So yeah, that was actually concerning for us because like their physical health. Also, being away from the active class environment, like being less active. This made the mental health side. They were really they had anxiety, like what is gonna happen? Like if the school opens, how am I gonna do? Am I gonna touch my friends? How am I gonna talk to my teacher? Am I gonna be wearing masks? Like the anxiety part was a little sad for us. And yeah, also the parent side. Another thing was our parents were just like, some of our parents were calling us and they were like, I'm so nervous. What is gonna happen? What is she gonna be like? What if this goes like, what if this affects her future? Like things like that. So like anxiety from the both sides, parents and the student. Yeah, that's I think that's all I'm gonna say. So I don't know. Do you want to ask anything?
Yeah, so we will come around the second time. I'm sure there's no problem. You can let mommy speak in Turkish and then you translate when it comes to the next round.
Okay.
Is that great?
Türkçe konuşabilirsin. Eklemek istediğin bir şeyler varsa onları söyleyebilirsin.
Yani bu sorunda, bu Covid sürecinde ekip çalışması çok önemli. İyi öğretmenlerle çalışmak çok önemli. İyi öğretmenlerle çalışıyorsanız gerçekten o dezavantaj gibi görünen kısımlar avantaja dönüşebiliyor. Amacı çocuğa dokunmak olan insanlarla çalışınca gerçekten işiniz daha kolaylaşıyor.
So she says like she felt like that pandemic online education thing was all about teamwork. And he says that if you had like understanding teachers, like who really wants to, like who aims to teach and who aims to like touch, it made everything a lot easier. And also the parents, like parent side, parents, teachers.
Lütfen hocam mı?
Evet, bir şey daha
Tamam.
ekleyeceğim.
And she had one last. Is that fine?
Great, you can go on.
Okay. She wants to add one last thing.
Okay.
Şimdi eğitimde sadece bir şeyleri çocuğa öğretmek değil, çocuğun duygularına dokunmak ve çocukta bazı sorumluluklar oluşturmak ancak bu yakından olabilen bir şey. Biz bazı şeyleri öğrettik, bilgileri aktardık ama o asıl çocuklara vermek istediğimiz şeylerde maalesef ki uzaktan yetişemedik. Onun üzüntüsünü yaşıyoruz.
She says that like education, like there is a teaching part and there is like the emotional transition part. She felt that the emotional transition part were a little like you know, were missing. So that's what she is sad about, because like it's sometimes you have to be like in person to like, you know, emotional transition and stuff.
Yeah.
Because most of our children are very little, so sometimes you really have to be like literally face to face.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's just great. It's just great. Her ideas have been so much, and I'm sure we are all taking cue. We are all sharing our classroom experiences and listening to the other side. I love the fact that we are touching on every side. So not just one country, but listening to other ideas, other experiences from classrooms all around the world. So it's amazing. Sally, I see you. Would you want to share your classroom experience with us? Sally?
Hello.
Okay, Sally, let's go.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon in Ghana. Good morning
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's good. Good afternoon in Ghana. Good afternoon in Ghana. I'm very pleased to join this Teachers Summit to inspire each other. In Ghana, it had not been really a new thing, because the new curriculum was introduced, and it's mostly an activity base. So we were finding it a bit easier after and during and after the pandemic, because when you look at it, it's all activity based where there isn't any direct contact with learners. So it really helped us a lot. Even though we had some difficulties along the side, it's when the government called for schools to be reopened, I would say at my department, preschool, it was like a whole, my first day at school activities. Children crying because they've stayed in their homes for a number of months. So it wasn't easy for teachers and parents. We have to start everything from the scratch.
Yeah.
And during those times too, the lockdown, we were compelled to blend both activities using the online and in person. So parents were bringing their awards, some were bringing their awards, and teachers were still teaching. Others were doing online activities at home. So when schools were asked to resume, still the online aspect affected it. Parents were still of the view that they wanted their awards to continue with the online. So teachers has to still resort to online activities. And what I realized was those doing the online during the lockdown had some experiences. So when they came back to school, it wasn't so tough like those who didn't take part in the online. We have to start from the scratch. Even writing their names and everything was another burden altogether for teachers to comply. But it also brought up parents and their awards together, because I realized there is a connectivity there. The parents were involved with their children, those doing the online, because parents have to assist their awards. So it brought that togetherness during that period. So I would say it's a positive impact in that angle. So even though there weren't any face-to-face activities when it comes to teachers, but it's a plus to the parents, because it brought them together with the awards. So in general, it's good. Teachers also had a lot of knowledge because they have to do this online research, so to embrace their knowledge on internet, connectivity, all those things, gathering information, resourceful materials to help students to progress. So it has really helped us bridge certain gaps of of illiteracy on in what's with the internet. So teachers has also learned a lot. So in general, the experiences, it's both positive and negative. Yes, we had some positive aspects and we also had some negative aspects, but in generalizing it, it has been good. Yes. So those are some of the experiences that I realized at the department. They are kids, so yeah, I don't really expect much from them as an adult. So that has been it.
All right, Sally. Thank you. Now,
You're welcome.
you can all drop your comments in the chat box. Some I'm sure some people will be speaking Turkey. Turkish, you can drop your comments. And now we have a translator out there. As a girl's daughter will translate if you want to take part in the discussion. And so we are still on the classroom experience, the positive and the negative. If you want to share your experience with us, you can just raise your hand and then we will call you. But then we are going to the next round. Now, Clara, so have you officially started in person?
No, we are supposed to, but schools are not ready yet. Of course, the government wants us to be there. We want to be there. Our kids want to be there. I've got a son and a daughter, and they both are so eager to be back in the classroom. They long for that place, sharing with their friends. So I just hope we can all go back there. Right now, where we are, it's quite rough with the COVID cases and all that. Eventually, I think we'll go back. We'll have to withdraw ourselves back to our class homes and then go back. I think it's going to be a quite tough return to school. Like we have to go back and then close down again and go back, as we've seen that, I don't know, in different countries around the world, it's been on, like they go back and then they close it up and then they reopen it. I think that we will end up like that. Where we are returning in this, as Gonzalo said, in a blending sort of way, like those who must be, like, I don't know, physical education, arts, theater, you know, those activities are going to be in place in the classroom. And those who can keep themselves online, such as, for example, even though I would love to be in the classroom with my students, I've learned that I can do that online. So if I can provide the space for those students that need to do, I don't know, drama, to have the space in the classroom, and that means that I can do my classes online, and we'll have to learn to do that, you know, this sharing the different opportunities. So at the time when we're going through that, those who have to be in the classroom will be in the classroom, and those who can keep teaching online will keep teaching online. We'll see that, but that's where at the level I did at college, secondary school, primary school, kindergarten, they're all going back. And in half, like half the students are going to at school, one week in between, like week 1, group A, week 2, group B, group 1, you know, like, so, and in the week they're this group home, they're going to be receiving classes online, whether live or asynchronous, but they are going to start doing that. Okay. So we'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed, we'll manage to pull it out and get the whole year through. In Argentina, we are just starting our classes now, so it's we're finishing our summer holidays. Okay. So we'll see how it goes. I was listening to is it Isegol? Yeah. And I couldn't agree more. It's so important, which says that, you know, that the things that we have learned and how, and something that Gonzalo said as well, we have been given the opportunity of meeting different people from all over the world, knowing that we're all in the same situation, and we have, like, naturally resorted to helping each other. So we have been able to build something, like we have managed to build such a team, not only with our students, but worldwide. And that's something that it's amazing. And I think that that's thanks to COVID. So it's always a blessing, you know. Yeah. Because we have been able to connect with each other and build up, construct something together that's beyond our dreams. With our students, we all have put on weight, that's true. I spent last year, 2020, you know, I've always thought I can't sit. I'm a very active person. So when I'm in the classroom, I just, you know, walk around. I'm always up on my feet. This year, I spent from, 6 in the morning to, because that's something else, from 6 in the morning to 10, 11 p.m., sitting down at the computer. So and I couldn't put a limit to that. Always looking for something new, answering or replying to emails, WhatsApp messages, and then learning, taking some websites that students suggested or that my colleagues suggested. So it was like, I'm not going to say 24 hours on the computer, but 19, 18, and that's something else. I think that was the most difficult thing for me, to limit myself to saying stop that, get a life,
Okay.
get a life. So yes, so that's the important thing. As I also mentioned, the importance of face-to-face contact with students. My daughter, when they started having classes, my daughter has just finished primary school, and she just turned 13. When she was starting in March, they last year in March, they went to school for 2 weeks and then lockdown. And it was, I don't know, must have been a month of classes through the classroom platform, but without the Zoom, for example, without this, the face. And when the teachers eventually started having Zoom, or they throw themselves into this adventure of connectivity, and they started connecting through this, the changes I saw in my daughter's mood, in my daughter's sensibility was amazing. So I think that even though we are still doing things online, this, Zoom, Meet, whatever platform, but something that has a camera and you can connect live and have a conversation and interaction, that's amazingly positive, particularly not only with children, with everyone. But I saw that in my kid, my daughter's perspective, her sense of humor, her mood, her spirit lifted up after having the Zoom class. So if we have to continue doing this online, I think that this is really important. Even though we are not space, it's important that we share a time like this one we're doing now, face to face with our students, listening to each other. And it's the camera is so important. I always ask my students, I know that they are shy, or perhaps they don't want to share their background, but it's so important. There's a point where we just don't care about the background. We just want to see eye expression, this eye-to-eye contact is so important. So I always encourage my students or my colleagues to turn on their cameras so that we can see face expressions. This communicates so much that it's so important that we have to keep it up.
All right, Clara, thank you very much. So Clara has did a lot. She's touched on Abigail's presentation. She's touched on Prof. Gonzalo's. Now let's come to Prof. Prof, now we know that you have not started school officially. So you've been doing Zoom online. Your students are matured. But let's find out. Have you observed any changes in your classroom? Now your new classroom is the Zoom, right? Or you have
that's right.
another system where you have your classes?
No, that's right. I've been using Zoom and I've been using Google Meet sometimes. But as Clara said, and as you said yourself, it's our new classroom. And we had to learn to manage that too. Because if we get too close to the camera, it was kind of fun. And it got too far from the camera, so we had to learn to work with this. And I learned, for instance, one of the things that I like using in my classroom is dramatization. And this time I couldn't use that. So I had to learn how to use dramatization in this online environment. So we had to use the camera and use the computer and use different angles and try to think of how to use it on our behalf. Okay, not only as an obstacle, but also as an opportunity. Because, for instance, right now I'm standing. Sometimes I had to sit and talk to students, but most of the time I try to be standing in order for them to see my gestures. Okay. Because for instance, last week I was reading about this, is that when we try to communicate, 55% of our communication is based on gestures.
Yeah.
Then 30% on other aspects, and only 7% in our words themselves. So words somehow are not that important, but our gestures, how we try to connect, how we try to share, how we try to express things, that's important in this sort of communication, even when we have face-to-face communication too. But this is very important when we have this online context. We had to learn to express ourselves in a different way. Maybe for some, it's very natural. From some others, they get awfully shy in front of the computer and even in front of the camera because they say, okay, I'm just talking to a screen. But well, we know that there are people just behind the screen. And so some people say, well, through technology, we have lost feelings and emotions. And I believe that during the 2020, lots of very humane and deep things have gone through, I don't know, Zoom or Google Meet or whatever platform we work with. And because it depends on us. It depends on us, and it doesn't depend on the platform. Okay, obviously platforms help, or they might be obstacles, but it's us, people, who make it valuable and who make it worthy and who make it human and who make it a deep experience or not. Okay, so it's up to us, and that's why I believe that what we have ahead, it's still to develop this idea of curiosity, the value of curiosity in our students, because right now we know that students, they can just Google everything, okay? They can just Google everything they want to learn about. Yeah. So probably if we talk about, I don't know, we want to talk kids about animals, they can learn about that anywhere. But what we need to do is to foster, to keep that spark alive of curiosity and to guide them in that way. Okay, so we say, okay, don't go to Google, go to this. I can't remember the name of the platform from Google for kids, but it's a platform that has different filters for kids, so we can use that, or we can start helping them to build this, as they say, digital citizenship, so they can get to even learn to move on this context. Okay, that's another aspect that we need nowadays.
Yeah.
Just 2 years ago, we said, okay, if you go to the internet, try to find that this thing or that thing. But right now, you are on the internet, you have your cell phone, you have connectivity. So be aware of this, be aware of that. Take care of yourself. Try not to share personal data with unknown people. So with strangers. So it's like we are building a different kind of skill that's also needed nowadays.
Wow. Thank you, Prof. We are building a different kind of skill that is also needed. Prof also touched on a whole lot of things. Dramatizing. You know, I was thinking about how you dramatizing on the Zoom. So using different angles for your students to actually be a part with what you are putting across. And there are some few issues in the chat box that I want us to look at. And so I see Dr. Ahmed. Doc said, we realize that online platforms such as Zoom are well designed for kids. They are not children friendly. We have conducted a survey among our students, and most of the children are not happy with the design. And so we are developing a project to handle this issue. Where is Dr. Ahmed? Dr. Ahmed, if you are here, let's see you.
Hi, can you hear me? I'm not the.
We see your face, doctor.
Sure, I'm not. I was sitting in my kitchen. Sorry about this. The environment may not be that good.
Okay,
but I can open my screen if it's okay.
That's perfect. We are happy to see you.
I am a parent for Ilimcan School.
Okay.
And this is a big issue. Well, people are not used to this kind of environment, this kind of learning environment. So it was really hard, especially for the Ilimcan School. Kids are elementary kids. They're young. they only think technology as a game tool.
Yeah.
Never heard.
Yeah.
By the way, we learned that, I think it's the best practice that we learn. Kids now know that technology is not only a game tool, now is a educational tool. I think is one of the benefit of this pandemic is this. And kids start to learn technology beyond the Google or beyond something else, that you can transfer information, you can learn from different. Um, and also, I think one of the big problems that we have, especially Zoom, TeamLink, or Microsoft Teams, these environments are okay, they're good, but for adults, not for kids. Like kids, they usually have a problem to focus on. And of course, they look for something colorful. When you think they're classrooms, everywhere is colorful, different shapes, different images. But when they get into the Zoom, everything is like black and white, and they get bored. And one of the main things that the links, the tools, icons are only for adults. They don't think what they're clicking on. And right now we had experienced that some of the guests, they opened their sounds and accidentally they jumped in and we heard them. So I think Zoom or other environment places, they should share, design new platforms that are kids friendly, and that everyone can be able to use it. So I think this is a new project. We only started with kids to survey them. We asked their ideas. We may not be able to develop, but I think this should be big companies should consider this as well. Sorry for jumping in. I'm only the guest, so.
Oh, but we are happy. This is
No, please, it's
interaction
great.
session.
Thank you.
In fact, Doc, in our next teacher project fair, we would want to hear more about this project. So
sure,
this is a discussion avenue. Last year we had a project fair, and teachers shared the projects they've been up to and how impactful it has been. And so I think middle of the year we have teacher project fair, and you tell us more about the project with pictures and all that, so that we know the way forward.
Sure.
And so thank you, Dr. Ahmed, for
Thank you for having us.
Thank you too. Thank you too. Okay. Yeah. Now, Clara said we must challenge ourselves to transmitting our love in different ways. So even as we are using the Zoom platform, even as we are using Google Classroom, as Prof said, use gestures. So we should challenge ourselves. Let's look at others. How do you handle assessment in your schools? How do you handle assessment in your schools? That's a question we will answer later. Shanina, take notes. Clara, take notes. Prof, take notes, and then you share with us. Okay, I think Clara gave her answer here through Zoom and Google Drive. Okay, live transmission. Okay. I think a little, okay, she learned how to focus on classes when there are a lot of distracting factors around the house. Okay, so this is a grade 1. Okay, so thank you very much. Now I want us to move on to the negatives. The negatives. We've looked at the positives of all the changes that have happened. The new classroom that we've had, we've listened to the positives. Tell us, are there any negative? And this time we are starting with Sally. Sally, tell us, have you observed any negative in your classroom now, whether virtual or in person? Are there any negatives? Your microphone is muted.
Yes, okay. There have been negative. In this aspect, online, I'll talk about the online negative aspect. My realization was during the online, you couldn't really tell who was doing the work for the child.
Okay.
Yes, because it got to a point where I wanted to have an in-person assessment with them because they are preschool kids. You ask them to write and they've written for you, but you can't tell who is helping them. But when we call them, we're having an in-person activity with them, we realize that no, what they have produced online does not really tally with what they are now giving you. So you could tell that there is an elder hand helping them, yes, without you realizing it. So that's one of the negative aspects. And we were doing Zoom alongside. The difficulty I'll not say a difficulty. A negative aspect was when the teacher switched on her the camera, the video, and the children are like, whoa, listen, auntie, that's auntie, that's auntie. All their focus is on the person teaching.
Okay.
So they're like, oh, and when they see their friends, they're like, you see them pointing at the screen, screaming, hey, Benedicta, they start mentioning names. So you could use almost 15 minutes to just do identification of friends there. Yes.
Okay.
So you realize that that's really what doctor was saying. Yes, wasn't helping at all because there wasn't any element that could catch their attention, unlike it being just a bare classroom and their focus is on one person, the teacher. Yes. So it didn't really help. Yes, the little ones, but with the adults, the primary, they were having it easier. So comparing the ages, I think something different would help the infants, the toddlers. Yes.
Okay.
So that has been something I realized.
All right. Thank you very much. So I think it's in line with doctor's suggestion that a new tool or something needs to be developed to cater for the younger ones. Okay. Thank you very much. Let's come to Asgil. Asgil, tell us, your kids, are they back in school?
Hello. I think they'll be back next week.
Next week.
Think.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are some of the operations that you've put up to handle them as they are coming?
I'm sorry?
What are some of the preparations that has been made to welcome them?
To welcome them, like, I'm sorry, I couldn't
back
get
to school, to welcome them back to school.
Yeah, like, are you asking like how are we gonna welcome them?
Yes, any special preparation?
I don't know. I actually have to ask you.
Let mommy answer.
Gelecek öğrenciler tekrar geldiğinde herhangi bir karşılama yapmayı düşünüyor musunuz? Güzel bir şey yoksa her zamanki gibi.
Zaten biz onlar yokken okulda bayağı bir değişiklikler yaptık. Köpek var. Karşılaması için.
So there's not gonna be like a big ceremony, but she says that she adopted a puppy so for the school. So I think she thinks that they'll be so happy to see him. Yeah, it's very little, it's really cute. So I think they'll be really exciting.
Köpeği küçük aldık ki büyüme süreçlerini, o bebekliğini birlikte
yaşasınlar. Yeah, so she's excited for the students to see the development, the improvement of the puppy. So yeah, that's our thing for now.
All right, thank you. I'm not taking your negatives because you've already mentioned that. Prof, tell us some of the, yes?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So when we asked our parents for the negative sides, we had a lot of messages that says, my child's sleep schedule is so messed up. I am so concerned. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I just can't fix it. So now we are like thinking about this, how we could. I think it's automatically will be changed because school will start. So yeah, that was one of the messages that we got.
Okay. All right. So, those listening, those watching, we are still in the Inspire Teacher Summit, the classroom experience. So today, no projection, no PowerPoint. We are having a chat to find out how the classrooms have been before and after and going forward. And the discussion so far has been super amazing. Now let's come to Prof. Prof, we are going to the last lap of the summit. Tell us, any negatives?
Well, I would like to see this year as a year of learning, as a year of relearning and reshaping education. So I believe that all kinds of obstacles that we have found somehow need to teach us actually to help us learn how to overcome them. And I believe that there should be 3 pillars. I don't want to focus on the negative, that's why I don't mention it. I just want to think of the positive. I want to think of that there are 3 things that I would like to share that I believe that we should foster. We should foster curiosity. We should foster, and I believe that a teacher like Matt Mary has a lot to say about that. Another thing that we need to think of is authentic learning. A teacher from Canada, Steve Revington, he's retired, but he developed this concept of authentic learning that has to do with trying things that are really useful for the student and useful for somebody else too. It's not only that the student learns for himself, but also learn for somebody else. And then this idea that we've been talking all through our summit, it's that connection-based learning. And Sean Robinson from Canada, he developed this concept too, and I have learned a lot from him. I believe that it's opening our classroom, not only to our voice as a teacher, but to different people who can also teach our students, somebody from the local community, somebody from some other place, or they can bring a problem and try to find a solution to that problem, but that problem it's connected to a person, to somebody who's real. So I believe that these 3 concepts, curiosity, authenticity in the classroom, and connection are really important in any kind of project that we might want to design or carry on, or whether it's online, blended, or face-to-face learning. I believe that those are some things that we need to always bear in mind, because we are building the leaders of the 21st century already. So it's like we are not just working, we are working, building leaders. and that's probably the greatest gift that we have as educators.
All right, Prof, thank you very much. I saw a hand up here. The hand raised, you can turn on your microphone and make your inputs. We'll be wrapping up shortly. Yeah, I think Essen Tegbayak, I saw your hand up. Do you have any input?
Okay.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can see you.
Okay. Hi there.
Hi there. You want to share something with us? Are you also in the classroom? Are you a teacher?
Yeah, I'm primary English teacher as well. So the most interesting thing happened in my during teaching online. Students always turn off their screen and they pretend not to be there. So I was obliged to them turn on screen and appear. So I promised to give them gift when schools are informally open. So I had hard time to convince them. Yeah. And also my students they always want to play, but I didn't know how to play on screen. So because they used to play during lessons, during teaching English. So I just use some internet platforms, especially for kids.
Okay.
It was an interesting experience for me, and I learned a lot from internet teaching online. Yeah, that's all.
All right.
What I want to share.
All right. Thank you for sharing your classroom experience with us.
Welcome.
Paula, do you have anything to share? Paula?
Hello, how are you?
Paula, yeah.
I was writing something on the chat box, but well, since you
Okay.
tell you. Well, hello everyone. I'm from Argentina as well. I work with Clara, and I also work at secondary schools here. And well, one of the negative aspects I can think of, and that my students have struggled with, was the lack of connectivity and the lack of proper devices.
Yeah.
I work at a school which is far from the city center, let's say, and many a time students had to share their phones or computers with the rest of their family members.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it was very, very difficult for them to connect. Even I don't mention Zoom meetings because we have classes in the evening from 6 p.m. on until 11 in the night. So when I wanted to do some Zoom meetings or Google Meet or whatever, they were probably having dinner or doing some, I don't know, things they had to do with their families.
Okay.
And it was very discouraging because most of our students in that school couldn't achieve their academic goals, let's say. Well, we are eager to work harder this year, but well, it is very, very discouraging.
Wow. Wow. So I'm just happy that we are sharing the classroom experience. I'm just happy. And there are positives and there are negatives. Okay, so let's take Clara. If you have any addition, you put up your hand and then we will call you and then we will wrap up today's segment. Yes, Clara.
Yes, I was listening to Paula and Gonzalo, and it's those are the one of the most difficult parts of the negative side of it. Someone else mentioned sometimes not trusting their students, not knowing if they were actually doing the work.
Oh no.
But I think that first of all, I think we have to remember that this has been a very strong emotional struggle that all of us have been through. So sometimes who's doing it perhaps it's not that important, but at least that kid is perhaps not able to do it himself, but wants to return something to the teacher. We have to remember that I lived it at home, and I'm sure that all of you have been through exactly the same. Sharing your intimacy with the rest of the world, students or your family. I was delivering lessons while my family were having dinner, or the other way about. My husband is also a teacher, so sometimes he was on Zoom with his students, and I was cooking, and I was like, shh, shh, be quiet, all the cutlery and the noises of a house where people are living, and I had my two kids fighting each other, where they sometimes, and I don't know, a huge row over who ate the last piece of chocolate, and I was like in the middle of a class, and that is so stressful, that it's like all of us have lost our intimacy, our that part of ourselves that if you're a teacher, you're a mom, you're a husband, you're a daughter, and all of us have that space. Like at home, we are, I don't know, mom, daughter, husband, wife. At school, we are teacher, we are friends, you know. And now we are all together in the same place at the same time, and it's chaotic, and that's really difficult to cope with. So I think that Gonzalo said that he didn't want to focus on the negative side of it. I think we have to acknowledge the negative side of it so that we can learn from it and learn from it and become better people, better human beings, better teachers. We have to remember that there's a time for everything. Perhaps not the time for learning 2+2 or learning English, but it's a time for learning to be ourselves and coping with this. And as teachers, we know that if there is an emotional issue that is not solved, there's no place for learning. So let's focus on the emotional part first. So when that's dealt with, then you know that dear old Krashen says emotional filters, you know. And so when the emotional part of it is solved, or at least we cope with that, then there'll be room for learning. So I think that the negative side of it has moved us onto a new paradigm, you know, going back onto old Bloom's taxonomy. Like first we have to be okay. We have to be okay, be relaxed and happy, and you know that we know that we are not in danger. We are in the safe zone, and if we feel in the on our safe zone, then we'll be able to learn. So let's accept the negative side and see what we can do with that, so that we can just deal with it and move on. I think that's
okay. All right, thank you very much. And we are almost done. We have in 8 minutes we'll be out of here. I thought Figan, I saw your hand up. You want to make an input? If you want to have a final something, you say it before Shanina comes in. Figan, I saw your hand up. Okay, Figan's hand is down. It's been a wonderful 70 minutes already, and we have been consistent listening to experiences from the classroom. As a girl, what are your final thoughts? Do you have anything to say to teachers out there? What are your final words? As a girl, I'm asking for your final words. Yeah. Yeah.
Hello?
Okay, hello.
So sorry.
We are all getting acquainted with the machine. Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, we try to connect via the phone because it's 1%.
Okay.
So, but we can't open the we can't turn on the microphone on the phone, so we don't know.
It's fine. So you can talk. Yes.
Sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, I wanted to find out Mommy's final words to teachers out there. As they juggle through, what are her final words to them? To teachers, to parents?
Yes. For teachers. Anne sana soruyor. Final words for teachers. Öğretmenlerine söylemek istediğim son sözler.
Hepsine çok teşekkür ederim.
She just thanks everyone. She is so happy for the effort. Like
dünyayı öğretmenler kurtaracak.
She says the teachers will save our world. So like she's just happy. They were so, you know, like like, you know, the compassion, like everything.
Öğretmenliği yaşam tarzı olarak kabul etmiş. Bütün öğretmenlere sevgiler.
She is sending her love to all the teachers who adopted, like being, like who sees being.
Yeah, I'm sure their battery is gone off there.
Her sound went out, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I'm sure we all got what they were trying to say. It's been a lovely session today. Let's listen to what Shanina has got to say in all the discussions that have gone on. Shanina, what have you got to tell us?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you all for coming. You all had such amazing things to say and do as it relates to what you're doing and what we're working on. We're in this fight together. And so what I'm hearing, thank you for your speakers and your honest feedback with the positive and the negative of, you know, this teaching after COVID-19. I do want to point out 3 points though. In summarizing everything that we talked about, there's 3 things that kept coming up and everybody kept saying. Number 1 is that the social emotional learning has to be a priority in this world. That our kids are not just made to just write and, you know, just write and read, but they have to have an emotional whole being first. So I think that's our first lesson, is that if we want to build and reach and teach our kids, we have to socially, emotionally get to their hearts. So we're seeing this as a country. Yay, give it up to us, the love, because I don't think we got there before. I think we were always, okay, what did I got to teach? What do I got to do? And now we're seeing the hearts of people. And we're like, you know what? Give me a hug. How you doing today? And then from there, once we build those relationships, then we start to see them pour out the content that we always wanted. So that whole social emotional piece has to be a priority in this world. No matter where these kids are, they have to know they matter. I think their cameras are off because they're embarrassed, and that intimacy, Claire, you hit it on point. I don't want anybody in my house. I'm sorry. So I don't want to turn my camera on. I'm embarrassed. I'm overwhelmed. And so the work that you all are doing, and Miss Sally was saying that the parents intervening on a lot of different levels. So the second thing is that we know that our parents can step up. And that was something that I don't think we've seen before, that our parents are feeling the stress and they feel that they can appreciate our work more as teachers. So we can partner with parents much more than we thought. So this is excellent, because we could give parents more responsibility. And they appreciate us a lot more, which is powerful. So 1 is the social emotional learning, 2 is that powerful relationship with parents, and 3, I think the problem solving. If this has not taught us anything else, we can problem solve. These kids can problem solve. They've had to work it out. And I think when they come back to school, and we all will eventually get there, they're going to appreciate their education. Because sitting at home and isolating, teaching yourself is not easy. So when I see Miss Claire, when I see Miss Paula, when I see Dr. Min, I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to be more deeply connected to my content because I appreciate being in class. And so I hope that what Professor was saying, that we do a deeper connection and we learn that we can learn anywhere, and that people can take personal responsibility for their own education. I just want to say teachers take way too much responsibility in, the whole responsibility of taking, education, that, it's always on the teacher. And so even though this has been a tragedy, I would say that it has brought us together to think differently. We have to think differently in education. And I agree with Paula, the negative is that this has highlighted the inequities in our country. That many kids did not have internet access and they did not have tablets and computers. And so that showed to highlight that we have to do better as a country to make sure that if we give the kids all around the world equal resources, because it just highlighted it so clearly that we have to do better. So I'm excited to continue to be praying for you all and rooting for you all. This has been an excellent summit. Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your experience. And we thank you for who you are and what you do. You're making such a big difference. Please never, ever give up on what you're doing.
Yeah, never ever give up on what you are doing. So that has been Teacher in the Classroom. Inspire Teachers Summits, the classroom experience, and the experiences have been amazing. Shanina, thank you. Prof, thank you. Clara, thank you. Sally, Asgil, I know, Paula, Essen, Fatos, Songo, Zulia, Vildan, Errol, Dr. Ahmed, Serkan, Zukran, Figan, another Ahmed here, IC, Kono, we had Mary, we had a lot of people on, but I couldn't wait for us to end. But you people have stayed from start to finish, and you deserve a clap, a clap, a clap, a clap, a clap, a clap, a clap, a clap, a clap, a clap, a clap, a clap. You deserve a clap. So thank you all. Now the next summit is going to be Teacher Projects Fair. And if you want to share your project with us, just let us know. You can follow Shanina, she dropped her handle, or you can follow me on Instagram at Jimalabi. You can follow Build, Read, Teach. We are building, we are reaching teachers everywhere in the world. And you want to share your project with the other world. Come on board, let's do it. I'm a teacher by choice. If you are a teacher by choice and not by chance, we are going to say it together. I am a teacher by choice and not by chance. So if you are a teacher by choice and not by chance, we are saying it together. Let's go. I am a teacher by choice and not by chance. Oh, unmute your microphones and let the world hear it.
I am a
teacher by choice and not by chance.
Yeah. And so I want all of us to be teachers by choice. That is what we are. Because being here today means you are called to be a teacher and you have decided to teach to touch life. And so let's keep up with what we are doing. So we meet again. If you have any comments, drop it in the chat box. Send Shanina a mail, send me a mail, and we will gladly answer you. I know. Thank you very much. And